Okay, now we're going to be working with the properties related to product of a power and quotient to a power. So we will be working in page 168 of your book, activity 2.1, and as I reminded you before, the answers to the problems we're going to be working are in page A as in Apple, A31. Okay? So the properties that we're going to be working on right now, again, you should be working with your book on page 168, and we're going to be working with product to a power. Okay? So product to a power. Okay, so the problem that the product to a power property is trying to simplify or resolve is when we have a product, for example, x times y, set up to a particular power. Okay, this is very easy to see. I mean, the base of this particular exponential expression is this whole thing right here, and the power of the expression is this number right here. That's the exponent. Okay, so basically an expression such as xy to the third really represents the base xy 3 times xy times xy times xy 3 times. Okay, I'm going to write this without parentheses so you can see the factors in a better way. Xy times xy times xy. Okay, so how many times is x occurring? So we have x to the third. How many times is y occurring as a factor? So we have y to the third. So really what we have here is that x times y to the third is equals to, really what we're going to do is we're going to distribute that exponent and we get this answer right here, x to the third times y to the third. Okay, therefore the property 4, so property 4, which is product to a power, product to a power, product to a power, and that property basically tells you that if I have a product such as A times B and I set it to n, what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the exponent, and then I will get A to the n times B to the n. Okay? So this is really easy. It gets a little complicated when I have coefficients, but this is going to be fine. Let's start working with the problems on page 168 again. I'm going to work with the add problem, so I'm going to start with number 21, and you're going to do the even problems, okay? Today we're going to do the add problems. Okay, so the first problem I have is 3x to the fourth. 3x to the fourth. Okay, so again, remember that this is my power. I'm going to have to distribute the power, okay, to both factors. So I'm going to have 3 to the fourth and x to the fourth. We all know that 3 to the fourth is really 9 times 9, which is 81, right? So 81x to the fourth could be the final answer for number 21. Okay, let's do number 23. So number 23, I have 4c, right, set to the third power. Again, I'm going to distribute the 3, I'm going to distribute to the 4 and to the c. So I'm going to have 4 to the third times c to the third. Now, what is 4 to the third? 4 to the third is 4 times 4 times 4, right? Which is 4 times 4 is 16, right? And 16 times 4 is 64, right? So I have 64 c to the third, okay? And that is the answer for problem number 3. Okay, 23 rather. Okay, this is problem number 23. Okay, let's go with problem number 25. Number 25 is a little different as number 25 has a negative in the coefficient. Okay, please remember when you have a negative number, okay, let me remind you here, remember, right, a negative number to an even power is going to be a positive. Okay? Okay, so let's just figure this out. So again, I have the 4, and the 4 is going to be distributed to the negative 2 and distributed to the x. So what I will get is negative 2 to the 4th and x to the 4th. Now remember that negative 2 to an even power is going to be a positive. So that's going to be 16 x to the 4th. And that's the answer for problem number 25. Okay? Okay, let's do number 27. Let's do problem number 27. We're going to do it right here at the top. And we have now 3 factors. 2ab to the 4th. 2ab. Okay, I'm having a problem writing so far at the top here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this in right here, and I'm going to write it right here. So it's 2ab, right, to the 4th. Okay? So what do I have? Again, remember, this number right here is going to be distributed. In this case, I had 3 factors, so it's going to be 2 to the 4th, a to the 4th, and b to the 4th. Now, 2 to the 4th, right, is 16. And then the answer will be 16a to the 4th, b to the 4th. And that's the answer for number 27. Okay? Let me do right here the very last problem of this property. And that is problem number 29. And in problem number 29, I have 2x to the 3rd, right, times 2x to the 2nd. Okay, so there are 2 ways to do this, and I'm going to do them both ways, number 1, number 2. I just want you to see the different ways to see this problem so you can make your own decision on what you want to do. Okay, the first thing I can do, okay, if I have 2x to the 3rd, 2x to the 3rd times 2x squared, I can repeat, because the bases are the same, I can repeat the base, right? And add the exponents. The exponents are 3 and 2. So 3 times 2 is 5, right? And now distribute the exponent, and that's 2 to the 5th, x to the 5th, which is really 32x to the 5th. Okay? Another way I can do this is, that's the second way, is by doing the distributive property right away. So I'm going to write the problem again so you can see. Okay, so here we go, 2x to the 3rd times 2x to the 2nd. Okay, I'm going to distribute this power, this exponent, in the factors. So I have 2x to the 3rd, x to the 3rd, times 2 to the 2nd, x to the 2nd. Now I can put the coefficients together. 2 to the 3rd times 2 to the 2nd, right, is 2 to the 5th. And then I have x to the 3rd and x to the 2nd. That gives me x to the 3 plus 2 is 5. Remember that 2 to the 5th is 32, and I have 32x to the 5th, which is the same answer I have by doing it in the other way. Okay? Okay, so the next property that we're going to be looking in section 2.1 is the property of quotient to a power, and we're working with page 169, okay? Page 169, and we're doing quotient to a power. And this is exactly the way we did the other problems, right? Now we're going to do, instead of a product to a power, we're going to have a quotient, which means a division. So we have x divided by y to the third, right? And of course, if I do this the old-fashioned way, I know that this expression right here is my base, right? So this would be x divided by y times x divided by y times x divided by y. And of course, how many times? As many times as I have the exponent. So this would be 3 times. Okay? So how do I do this? Remember that when you have, let me just do it right here so you remember. If I have 1/3 times 2/5, right? The way to do this is I multiply 1 times 2, that's 2, and 3 times 5, right? That is 15. So you multiply numerators and then you multiply denominators. Okay? So here I have 3 fractions, 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to multiply. So I have x times x times x at the top, and in the denominator I will have y times y times y. Okay? Times y. Okay. So what do I have now at the top? At the top I'm going to have x to the third, and at the bottom in the denominator I'm going to have y times y times y, which is y to the third. Okay? And that is the final answer. Okay, so this is what we got. We got that if I have x divided by y, which is a quotient to a power, I can kind of distribute that power, and the numerator will get the power and the denominator will get the power. Okay? So very intuitive property. I think we should be ready to do the problems in page 170. Okay? So now we're going to go page 170. Again, I'm going to do the add problems, and you are going to do the even problems. You're going to check your answer in the back of the book. Okay, let me start with problem number 31. So in problem number 31, I have -5 divided by x to the second power. Again, remember, I'm going to go here and go in the denominator. So I'm going to have, at the top, I'm going to have -5, right, to the second power. Yes, in the denominator, I'm going to have x to the second power. Okay, so -5 to the second power is 25, and in the denominator, I have x to the second. So this is the answer for problem number 31. Okay, let me do problem number 33. Okay, let me work in black. So I have negative 1, okay, negative 1 divided by k. I'm in trouble with my pen, I'm sorry. -1, I'm going to have to switch here, divided by k, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to set it to the 10. Okay, so to the 10. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the 10. It's going to go at the top, okay? It's going to go at the top and it's going to go at the bottom. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go to the top. So it's going to be -1 to the 10, and I'm going to put it at the bottom. It's going to be k to the 10. Okay, so this is k. Now, because this is an even number, -1 to the 10 is going to be positive 1, and then in the denominator, I'm just going to have k to the 10. Okay, and that's the final answer for problem number 33. Okay, let me do problem number 35. And now in number 35, I have 2a divided by b, all of that to the third power. Now remember, you're going to do the distributive. You're going to distribute this exponent, right? You're going to distribute to everybody, to every single factor in the expression. So here we go. 2 to the third, right? A to the third, and then b to the third. The only thing I could do is basically substitute this 2 to the third, right? And then I have a to the third divided by b to the third. Let's make sure that we have a fraction here, and that's the answer for problem number 35. Let me do number 37. And in number 37, I have -2ab, right, divided by 3xy, everything to the fourth. And remember, I'm going to do the distributive property, okay? Every single factor here. So it's going to be -2 parentheses to the fourth, a to the fourth, and b to the fourth, divided by 3 to the fourth, x to the fourth, and y to the fourth. Okay? It looks complicated, but really it isn't. Or really what you are doing right now is you are basically distributing the 4, distributing the 4, right, into each one, into each one of these factors. So here we have -2 to the fourth, -2 to the fourth, this number, right here. Let me just go back. Okay, so this number right here, -2 to the fourth, is 16. Remember that it's negative and this is even, okay? A to the fourth, b to the fourth, and right here I had 3 to the fourth, which you know is 81, x to the fourth, y to the fourth. Okay? 16 and 81 do not have any kind of common divisors, so that would be the final answer. Okay? Now, what we want to do is when we want to do problem number 39. And problem number 39 is a little bigger, right? We have 2x divided by y to the second, and 2x divided by y, yes, to the second. Now, please notice that in these cases, 2x divided by y repeats. So the exponential expression have the same base. So I'm going to write my base 2x divided by y, and I'm going to add, okay? So, by the way, this number right here is a 2. So I have 2 plus 2, and 2 plus 2 is 4. So this is what I have, okay? Why? Because remember that if you have x to the second times x to the second, you get x to the fourth. As long as the bases are the same, you repeat the base and you add the exponents, okay? So you go this for by adding the exponents. Okay, so I kept the base, I added the exponents, okay? But now I have this 4, so now this 4 is going to have to go inside my expression, and I'm going to have 2 to the fourth, x to the fourth, divided by y to the fourth. The only thing I can do is I'm going to write, instead of writing 2 to the fourth, we all know that 2 to the 4th is 16, and it's going to be 16 x to the 4th, y to the 4th. Okay, so we went all the way to page 170. We still have one more property to cover, and then we will be finished with activity 2.1. Okay, so I want you to go now to the next video.